In the years that followed, wars raged between men, between dark and light, between those who fought to survive and build, and those who sought to destroy and rule the rubble. The child grew, as did her powers. With her training, her mistakes, her triumphs, she took the next steps. So a young girl full of faith and wonder reached into the fire and took up the sword and the shield, and became the One. Magicks began to rise. Chapter 1. A storm raged. It crashed around her with wild, wind-whipped rain, sizzling strikes of lightning, bellowing booms of thunder. It whirled inside her, a torrent of anger she knew must be suppressed. She would bring death tonight, by her sword, by her power, by her orders. Every drop of bloodshed would be on her hands. That was the weight of command, and accepted. She was not yet 20. Fallon Swift touched her fingers to the cuff she wore on her wrist, one she'd conjured from a tree she'd destroyed out of temper, and carved to remember never to destroy out of anger. It said, "Solace Don Seal, light for life." She would bring death tonight, she thought again, but she would help others live. Through the storm, she studied the compound. Magicks, her teacher, had taken her to one similar enough on her 14th birthday. But while that one had been deserted, with only the stink of black Magicks, the charred remains of the dead, the dying cries of the tortured left, this one held more than 600, 280 personnel, and 332 prisoners. 47 of those prisoners were, according to their intel, under the age of 12. She had every inch of the compound, the containment center, every room, every hallway, camera, alarm, in her head. She'd made detailed maps, had spent months planning this rescue. It would be, in the 3 years since she'd begun to raise her army, since she and her family had left their home for New Hope, the biggest rescue attempt by her resistance forces. If she failed? A hand gripped her shoulder, steadied her as it always had. She turned her head, looked at her father.
"We've got this,"
Simon told her. She let out a breath. "Bespelling the surveillance cameras," she murmured, and relayed that to the elves mind to mind so they'd pass the word. Now those at security monitors would see only the trees, the rain, the swampy ground. "Take down the alarms." She and other witches worked the spell painstakingly while the storm blew. When the all-clear ran through the ranks, she ignored the pang, gave the order. "Archers, go." The guard towers had to be taken out, swift and silent. She felt Tonya, lead archer, friend, blood of her blood, knock an arrow, release. With eyes gray and focused, she watched arrows strike, men fall, in the towers on the 4 corners of the prison walls. Moving in, she took the electronic gates, using power to disarm. At her signals, troops flowed through the opening, elves scaled the walls and fences, shifters leaped, tooth and claw, fairies glided with a whisper of wings. Timing, she thought, as she spoke to the elf commander Flynn, to Tonya in her mind. They would breach the 3 doors simultaneously, and each team leader would focus their troops on priorities. Destroy communications, eliminate security, take the armory, secure the lab. Above all, shield the prisoners. After one last glance at her father, seeing the courage and determination in the face she trusted completely, she gave the order. Drawing her sword, she blew the locks on the main doors, charged in, blew the secondary doors open. Part of her mind overlaid the now with the prison on Hatteras, the visions she'd stirred there at 14. So much the same. But here, soldiers lived, reached for weapons. Even as gunfire rang out, she struck, inflaming sidearms that left hands blistered and men screaming with pain. She struck out with sword, swung out with shield to cut through the enemy. Fighting through, she heard the shouts, moans, pleading from behind the steel doors, and felt the fear, the terrible hope, the pain and confusion.